The bold and the beautiful. Luna's shocking DNA test shakes the Spencer family to the core. The corridors of Forrester Creations and Spencer Publications are no strangers to secrets, betrayal, and jaw-dropping revelations. But nothing could have prepared anyone for what Bridget Forrester revealed that day at the hospital. After weeks of mounting tension, whispers behind closed doors, and speculation that tore relationships apart, the truth finally surfaced. Luna's baby is Will's. The air in the hospital room turned ice cold the moment Bridget emerged from the lab. The DNA results in hand. Her voice was calm but carried a finality that cracked the foundation of the Spencer family. "Will," she said, her eyes locking onto the young Spencer. "You are the father." Time seemed to freeze. Will's face drained of color as the words echoed through the room. Every plan, every illusion of normalcy, shattered in a single breath. He looked at Luna, who stood silently, her eyes wide, trembling. This wasn't just about a fling gone too far, it was about lives permanently entangled. Futures rewritten. Families divided. But before anyone could even begin to process that news, Bridget dropped another bombshell that sent the entire room into chaos. "There's something else," she added, her voice firmer now. "Luna is pregnant with twins." The silence that followed was suffocating. Luna gasped, tears filling her eyes. Will staggered back as if struck. But the most visceral reaction came from Bill Spencer. The mighty, ruthless media mogul, the man who could crush empires with a phone call, stood frozen, his expression unreadable, but his soul clearly rocked to its core. Twins. Not just one grandchild but two. Two babies born from a woman he never wanted in their lives. Two consequences of a night he wished never happened. And now, there was no undoing it. Bill's first instinct wasn't pride or joy. It was fear, anger, contempt. He didn't hide it. He couldn't. He looked at Luna like she had detonated a bomb in the middle of his carefully curated empire. He had spent years building power, controlling narratives, protecting his family name. Now, this scandal? Luna wasn't just carrying Will's child, she was carrying the next generation of Spencers. Times two. As Luna sat stunned, Will finally broke his silence. "Twins?" His voice cracked. How are we going to deal with this?" He looked to Bill for guidance, for support, but what he got was a cold stare. Bill wasn't ready to play the doting grandfather. Not even close. Bill turned to Bridget. "There's no mistake," he demanded. Bridget shook her head. "We ran the test twice. It's conclusive." Bill's jaw clenched. The walls he had built around his emotions began to crumble, revealing a rare glimpse of vulnerability and rage. Not because of the scandal, but because of the implications. Will, his youngest, was now bound to Luna, a woman Bill never trusted. And now she carried not one, but two new Spencers. Later that evening, in the Spencer estate, tension thickened. Bill paced like a lion in a cage, his mind racing. Katie arrived after hearing the news, her face tight with concern. She knew her son well. Will was reeling. He wasn't ready for fatherhood, especially not with twins, and especially not with Luna. Katie found him sitting alone, silent, lost in thought. She hugged him tightly. No words. Just a mother trying to ground her child as the world spun out of control. Bill called a family meeting. Luna arrived cautiously, knowing her presence alone was like a spark near gasoline. She held her head high, though. She was scared, but she had nothing to hide. She was carrying two lives inside her. And no matter how anyone felt about it, she was going to protect them. "I want to do the right thing," Will said, breaking the silence. "I don't know what that is yet, but I'll be there. For the babies. For Luna." Katie squeezed his hand, proud but worried. That's when Bill made his move. "If you're serious about doing the right thing," Bill said, his tone sharp, "then marry her." The room exploded. "What?" Katie stood up, her voice shrill with disbelief. "Bill, are you out of your mind? She's carrying his children." "Katie," Bill snapped. "Two of them. The Spencer name is at stake." Katie turned to Luna. "This isn't about doing the right thing. This is about control. Bill doesn't care about you. He doesn't even care about the babies. He just wants to wrap this up in a neat little bow for the sake of his empire." Luna's voice cut through the chaos. "I won't be forced into a marriage. I didn't ask for this, and I'm not going to be used to salvage your legacy." Will nodded. "I won't marry Luna because Dad told me to. I'll marry her if we decide to. Together." But Bill wasn't finished. "This isn't just about you, Will. You're a Spencer. These kids are Spencers. Their future is on the line, and we're not leaving it to chance." Katie stepped between them. "Don't you dare manipulate him. You've done it to Liam. You've done it to Wyatt. You will not do it to Will." Bill's eyes narrowed. "You're not the only parent here, Katie. And that gives you the right to force a wedding? To dictate Luna's life?" She shot back. As the argument escalated, Luna quietly slipped away, her hand resting on her stomach. 2 lives. 2 heartbeats. 2 reasons to be strong, even if the world around her was crumbling. Meanwhile, Will found her outside, staring at the sky, trying to breathe through the weight of it all. I didn't want this, she whispered. Not like this. He stood beside her. I know, but we have to figure it out. Together. Back at Forrester Creations, word of the scandal spread like wildfire. Steffi and Ridge exchanged looks of disbelief. Thomas, ever the opportunist, mused about how this could shift the balance of power at Spencer Publications. And Hope Logan couldn't hide her worry. Luna was her cousin by marriage. And now all of this could drag the Forresters into yet another media storm. Even Liam and Wyatt, veterans of Bill's schemes, expressed concern. He's going to ruin Will if he keeps pushing like this, Wyatt said. He doesn't know how to let go. But Bill wasn't stopping. He hired private investigators to dig into Luna's background. Anything he could use to discredit her. To sever her connection to his family. He didn't care that she was pregnant. He didn't care that the babies were his grandchildren. All he saw was a threat. Katie, however, stood her ground. She met with Luna privately and offered her support. You're not alone, she told her. Bill doesn't get to decide your life. You do. Meanwhile, Luna's pregnancy progressed quickly, bringing with it complications. Stress. Fatigue. The pressure from the media, the public, and the Spencer legacy weighed heavily. And still, Will never left her side. Eventually, Bill was forced to confront the truth, not the DNA results, but the emotional reality. These children would be born whether he liked it or not. They would bear his name, his blood. And Luna, strong, defiant Luna, was not going anywhere. In a moment of rare self-reflection, Bill stood alone in his office, staring at a framed photo of his sons. He saw what his ambition had cost them. Liam, forever tormented by love and betrayal. Wyatt, always chasing validation. And now Will, caught in a storm that Bill had helped create. He picked up the phone. Call Luna. I want to meet. The conversation was tense. Bill didn't apologize, he never did, but he did say something Luna never expected. I won't fight you anymore. But I will fight for them. For those kids. Luna looked at him, wary but open. Then start by respecting their mother. That night, Will sat by Luna's side as she fell asleep. One hand on her belly. Feeling the twins kick. In that quiet moment, everything else faded, the pressure, the drama, the legacy. It was just him, her, and the future they didn't ask for but were determined to face. And in the shadows, Bill Spencer watched from afar, wrestling with a new truth. Legacy doesn't mean control. Sometimes it means letting go. Sometimes it means standing back and letting the next generation find their own way. Even if it terrifies you. But make no mistake, the war isn't over. The bold and the beautiful never forgets. And neither does Bill Spencer. The confrontation between Bill and Katie had become a war zone. The walls of Bill's study rang with their voices. He stood with a glass of scotch in his hand, the veins in his temple pulsing as he barked that the Spencer name would not be dragged through. Scandal again. He was going to marry Will and Luna at the estate, invite the press, wrap the chaos in a perfect, glossy bow. Katie was livid, shaking, her voice cutting through his like a blade. You are insane, Bill, she hissed. You're trying to chain my son to a woman with blood on her hands. A killer. Do you even hear yourself? She's carrying his children, Bill shot back. 2 of them. Do you know what that means? Do you know what kind of world they'll be born into if we don't protect them? Katie slammed her palm against the desk. Protect them? Or protect your brand? You don't care about Will's happiness. You care about the Spencer name. You always have. The fight was a storm that had been brewing for years and now it broke. Bill shouted about responsibility and legacy. Katie shouted about morality and free will. Neither noticed the phone ringing at first. It was the house security line. When Bill finally picked up, his voice rough with anger, the blood drained from his face. The guard's words were clipped, panicked. Mr. Spencer, you need to come home. Now. It's Miss Luna. She's dead. Bill's hand tightened on the phone. Katie saw his eyes turn to ice. What do you mean dead? He demanded. She's been attacked. It's bad, sir. She's gone. The glass dropped from his hand, shattering on the hardwood. Katie staggered back, her fury evaporating into shock. What? Bill didn't wait to explain. He grabbed his coat and stormed out, Katie on his heels. By the time they reached the estate, it was a nightmare of flashing lights and uniformed officers. Yellow tape cut across the marble entryway like a wound. Luna's body was already under a sheet in the foyer. And even through the blur of chaos, Katie could see the telltale spatter on the white tile. Bill pushed past a detective. Where is my son? Where is Will? He demanded. They found Will outside near the fountain, hunched over, his hands trembling. Electra stood beside him, her face a careful mask of grief, her eyes darting between the police and Will like a hawk scanning for threats. Bill's gut told him something was wrong. He had been in enough boardrooms and war rooms to recognize the look of two people who shared a secret. He took a step toward Will. "Son, tell me you had nothing to do with this," he said, his voice low and rough. Will looked up, eyes wet, jaw trembling. He said nothing. Electra spoke instead. "This is insane. He just found her. He's in shock. Can't you see that?" But Bill did see something. The way Electra's hand squeezed Will's arm a fraction too tight. The way Will flinched but didn't pull away. The pieces started falling into place with a sickening clarity. Later, when the crowd thinned and the house fell into a haunted quiet, Bill cornered his son in the study. "Tell me the truth," he said, his voice a low growl. "I can smell it on you. You were here. You know what happened." Will's lip quivered. "Dad, don't dad, me. Tell me the truth now or I swear to God." Electra stepped forward, defiant. "You think you can bully him like you bully everyone else? We did what we had to do. She was going to destroy everything. She was going to take him away from me. From you. From all of this." Bill's face went slack. "We?" he whispered. Will's eyes closed, tears rolling down his cheeks. "It was an accident at first," he stammered. "She came at us. We fought. She fell. But then," he broke off. "We had to finish it. We couldn't let her ruin everything." Bill stumbled back as if struck. The words hung in the air like poison. His son, and the woman he thought was just another manipulative girlfriend. They had killed Luna, the mother of his grandchildren. Bill's mind went into overdrive. Years of being a ruthless tactician kicked in automatically. How to manage the scene. How to spin the story. How to bury evidence. He could already see the headlines, the lawsuits, the prison sentences. He could also feel, deep in his chest, something he hadn't felt in a long time: despair. He turned his back on them, pacing. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" he hissed. "You didn't just kill a woman. You killed the mother of your children. You've destroyed every future you had." Electra sneered. "We destroyed nothing. She was a liar, a killer herself. We freed ourselves." Bill whipped around, eyes blazing. "Freed yourselves? You've chained yourselves to a murder charge. And you've chained me to it too. The police are going to come for you, and when they do, there's no fixing it." Will's voice cracked. "Help me, Dad, please." Katie came into the room then, having overheard enough to understand. Her face went white. "Oh my God," she whispered. It's true, isn't it?" Bill's fists clenched. He had been a lot of things in his life: liar, manipulator, cheater, predator. But he had never stood in front of his own son as a confessed murderer. This was a different battlefield entirely. He had two choices. He could call his lawyers, erase evidence, buy silence, and bury the crime like he had buried scandals before. Or he could pick up the phone and call the police, handing over his own son and the woman who had poisoned him. One choice would save Will's freedom at the cost of his soul. The other would destroy Will's life but maybe, just maybe, save what was left of his humanity. He looked at Katie. Her eyes told him what she thought. "Don't you dare cover this up. Not this time." He looked at Will, who was pale and shaking, and thought of the babies who would grow up without a mother. And maybe without a father. Bill Spencer was a man who had always acted, always controlled, always won. For the first time, he didn't know what move to make. But as the wail of sirens grew closer outside, he understood one thing: whatever he did next would define the rest of his life. And his son's. Would he protect Will, bury the truth and become complicit in murder? Or would he hand him over to the law and lose the only son who still called him Dad? Bill stood there, his phone in his hand, and realized that no amount of money or power could make this decision for him. And then, with a shaking hand, he started to dial.